Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Raxium CXR series LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses fitting 2018 to 2020 F-150s equipped with the factory halogen headlights. These are perfect for the F-150 owner who is after a simple and aggressive looking update with more lighting output for their truck. These are a cool mod for the front end of your F-150 that will give you the big name benefits without the big name price tag. While it's easy to go overboard with a set of headlights when it comes to lighting elements and general style, the CXR series keep things a bit more subdued. And if they look similar to what you'd find on the Raptor of this generation, that is not your imagination. They do kind of look like an OEM setup. The black internal housings and the simple LED structure here make these look like they could have been an option you would have ticked from Ford. But they have way more lighting output, especially as compared to your standard halogens. Inside, you've got two LED projectors. The top ones function as your low beams, the bottom ones kick on to make up your high beams. And as you'd expect with LED projectors, these put out a crisp light with a sharp cutoff and a wide beam pattern. These are also going to put out a pretty cool temperature light, so they put off more of a brighter whitish sort of light as opposed to the more yellow that you would get with your factory halogens. Now you also get more LEDs around the outside edges that function as your daytime running lights and your turn signals. Here the DRLs illuminate a diffused white color, and they're going to switch to amber when you activate your turn signals. These give the CXRs a modern, clean look, and they do a lot to make the front end of your truck look that much more aggressive. Plus, the turn signals are sequential, which doesn't really add anything functionally, but it's always just a fun little extra in my book. Now the outer housings here are made from ABS plastic, which is known for its lightweight and durability and makes it a standard of the auto industry. Much the same is true for the lenses, which are the industry standard polycarbonate, but these also feature a UV coating over top for added protection, so they're not going to crack yellow or get crazed up like you would find on a lot of other polycarbonate lenses. You do get integrated heat sinks inside to keep the electronics cool and running properly, and the entire thing is weather sealed to keep out dirt and moisture, so all of that means that these should be quite durable and last you a long time. The CXRs are also DOT and SAE approved, meaning that they are fully street legal, and they've got integrated adjusters. Pricing comes in at about $950 for the set, which does put them towards the higher end of the segment. Make no mistake though, with all the LEDs inside and the output that these have, they are definitely a premium product, and you can tell when you pull them out of the box. The price, of course, is going to reflect that, but if you want a well-integrated, good-looking setup for your truck that's got a lot of lighting output, look no further. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 1 hour to complete. And these are a fully plug and play operation, and you get all the required stuff that you need included in the kit. So these are just going to plug right into place in your factory lights and be ready to go, making this a job that pretty much anyone can accomplish at home. So with that said, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the process.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, an extension, 7, 8, 10, and 13 millimeter sockets, and the T25 Torx socket. What's up guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our F-150. First we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory headlights, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
First thing we need to do to remove our headlights is remove this filler panel underneath our grille. And to do that, there are 2 screws on either end of this filler panel in the fender lip area. Then we're going to use our 7 millimeter socket to remove those 2 screws on each side. All right, so we've got 2 7 millimeter bolts right here on the inside of the fender lip. So we're going to go ahead and remove those with our 7 millimeter socket. And now you can remove the 2 screws on the other side of the vehicle. Now with our screws removed, we can just grab a hold of the inside edge of this filler panel and start pulling it away. It's only held in with plastic clips, so we just grab a hold, give it a tug, and start pulling it away. Next thing we're going to do is remove our radiator shroud here, and we've got 14 push pins that we need to remove. To do that, we're going to use our trim removal tool and just pop these up out of the way. Now with the push pins removed, we should just be able to lift this up and pull it away. All right, next we've got a couple of connectors here that need to be disconnected. Depending on the configuration of your truck, you may have one or two, but let's go ahead and get those disconnected first, and then we'll remove the 4 10mm bolts on top to go ahead and remove our grill. So here are our connectors. You're just gonna reach in, push down on the release lever, and disconnect it. Same thing for the other one. Now, like I said, you may have one or more. Just push in on the release lever and pop it out. Now you may also have a plastic push pin connector right here to hold the harness in place. Ours happens to be missing, but just go ahead and pop that out with your trim removal tool, and then we can remove the 4 bolts on the top. Now we've got 2 13mm bolts, one in the corner here and one on the other side of the grill. So we'll go ahead and remove those, and then we can slide our grill out. All right, now just grab a hold of your grill and pull it straight back. All right, now we're ready to remove our headlight. And to do that, we've got 2 10mm screws at the top here, plus this plastic push pin. So we'll use our trim removal tool to remove the plastic push pin and our 10mm socket to remove those 2 bolts. All right, now we've got 3 more to remove at the bottom here. We've got an 8mm here on the inside, a 10mm next to it, and another 10mm on the outside. So we'll go ahead and take those out. And now we'll get our 8mm. All right, now we need to separate this plastic trim piece at the bottom from our headlight. So we'll use our trim removal tool and just pry this down and get it separated. And then we can go ahead and pull our headlight straight back. Now we can disconnect our 3 connectors at the back of our light simply by pushing in on the release lever on the connector and pulling it straight back. And now you can repeat that process for the other light.
So now with our factory headlights removed, we're gonna have to transfer over this lower bracket from our stock to our new one. We have 3 T25 Torx screws that we're gonna take a T25 Torx socket to remove. We'll transfer over the bracket, and then we can just run those self-tapping screws into our new headlight. So now at the bottom of our bracket, we have our 3 screws that we're gonna take that T25 Torx socket to remove. And then we can lift the bracket up. We're sliding it off of these 2 posts. And then we're just gonna slide it back on onto our new one the same way. And then we can grab our screws line up our holes and run those in. Now obviously these are tightening down into plastic, so you don't want to give it too much force. And then repeat that process for your other headlight and we'll get these on the truck. Now one quick thing to note before we start installing our headlights is if you have a single connector to the back of your headlight, you're gonna have to use this adapter harness. Now these other connectors are gonna plug into the back of the headlight. However, for our application, we have 3 connectors coming off of our body harness, so we're just gonna be able to plug and play with these headlights. So now we can plug in all of the connectors on our headlight and slide this into place, and then I'm just gonna put that push clip at the top just to hold it in place while we get our bolts installed. Now we've got 3 connectors, they're all different, so it's very obvious where they all go. So we'll go ahead and plug those in. And once you have those clipped into place, you can tuck your wires back deep into the headlight bucket. Slide your headlight in, and then grab that push clip for the top. And that'll hold it in place so that we can get our bolts installed. So now we can install our 3 bolts at the bottom of our headlight. The first thing you want to do is take your air dam and push that up into the bracket that we transferred over from our old headlight to line up the hole with the U-clip so that we can thread our bolt in. And then we'll thread in a 10 mil bolt at the side here. And then our 8 mil bolt at the inside corner. And then we'll take our 10 millimeter socket and tighten down the first 2. I'm just gonna get this into position before we tighten it down. And then we'll switch to our 8 mil socket for our last bolt. And now we can come up top and reinstall our last 2 10 mil bolts. And then we'll take a 10 millimeter socket and tighten these down. Now once you have both headlights installed, you can line up the tabs on your grille and press it into place. Now you're going to want to get those 2 connectors up and out of the way before you press this on. Now we can come to the top of our grille. We're going to start with reconnecting our 2 connectors here. And then with those in place, we can reinstall our 4 bolts holding the top of the grille in. And then take that 10 millimeter socket and tighten those all down. Now with the grille bolted down, we can reinstall our radiator cover. And once that's in place, we can take all of our push clips and reinstall them. Now we can come to the lower corner of our grille and reinstall our 13 millimeter bolt. We'll take a 13 mil socket to tighten it down. And then do that same thing on the other side. Next we can reinstall our lower trim. So we're just gonna line it up in the middle here, press it in, and then we can wrap it around the corners. Now lastly, we can come back to our wheel well and reinstall those two 7mm screws in our lower trim piece. And then take a 7mm socket to tighten them down and do the same thing on the other side.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install the Raxium CXR series LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses, fitting 2018 to 2020 F-150s equipped with factory halogen headlights. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things F-150, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.